in as much or as little detail as you're going to. From the first bell, what are you going to do?
Knock his head off. That's what I'm going to do. I'm, like I said, I'm like 55 pounds heavier. So as soon as I hit him, it's going to be something different.
You're going to knock his head off?
Of course.
I think he's only been knocked down once. He's never been knocked, and that was a low blow. He's never been knocked down. You're going to have to go some, Rico.
Oh, what an opportunity I have here. I'm going to shock the world in front of the pyramids in this crazy scene. It's like, oh my God, I love it. That's why I'm so excited.
I mean, tell me about...
Of course, but like you always try to, wrap it up as fast as possible, as soon as possible. So, and especially with the weight difference is as soon as I clip him, he's gonna feel that. It's gonna be like at least a 20 kilo difference.
But he's gonna be dangerous. Like all the attributes that he has, they still exist, regardless of his mental state. But I see a kid in pain, you know? I've got to be honest with you, like, I don't see how people around him can be looking at his behaviour and being comfortable with it.
And is in with Tyson Fury. And of course, as you rightly say, you're now being trained for the Usyk fight by Tyson's uncle Peter. So you've been in and around boxing and in and around the Furies for a considerable period of time.
Yeah, 100%. And I've sparred everybody. I've sparred all the guys.
Who else have you sparred?
Caballao. I've sparred with Dillian White. I've sparred all those guys that came out for sparring. I sparred them all. So I sparred with top tier boxing guys.
So he's been living in the field. It sounds as if I'm making a case for this. I'm not. But he's been living in the field of boxers for a while.
But we'll see.
Rico Verhoeven is sending a direct warning to Oleksandr Usyk and claiming he will end his career inside the ring. This is not just confidence. This is a full-level threat from a kickboxing legend stepping into boxing with huge expectations. Usyk, however, has already proven he can handle elite pressure and undefeated champions across divisions.
I put the pressure on me. He has the target on his back. He's been having the target on his back for so many years. I had the same. So I've been so used to the big lights, the big sold-out arenas, all the media attention, the pictures, the interviews. Love. I'm used to that pressure. I'm used to that because I've been doing it for the last decade. So for me, that's not new. So I'm putting the pressure on myself to make sure I perform to the best of my ability. So I'm not putting myself like, oh, I'm the big underdog, so there is nothing to lose. No, there's definitely something to lose. I'm not even thinking about losing. I'm gonna win. And when I win, I'll write history.
Rico Verhoeven is explaining his knockout mindset and how his transition from kickboxing to boxing is finally unlocking more punching power in his game. But against Oleksandr Usyk, this confidence will be tested at the highest level. Usyk is not someone who stands in front and allows power shots to land clean.
What is your knockout capacity? I mean, you can see Usyk in front of you.
I'm always like very calculated, but yeah, when I connect, I connect. Like I said, there's a lot of weight behind these punches. So yeah, of course, within the kickboxing sport, I was used to just throwing the kicks and doing my thing. But now we get the opportunity to use the hands more. So Peter is like, oh, he's like crazy excited. He's like, finally, because we've been throughout all these years, we've been debating so much because he's like, yo, Rico, you got to do a little bit more of this. You got to little. I said, Pete, I can't because within kickboxing, that doesn't work. And now he's like, okay, I can teach you boxing.
Oleksandr Usyk is showing his calm and composed mindset once again, treating this massive crossover clash like just another day in the ring. While Rico Verhoeven is building hype with big claims and intimidation talk, Usyk stays mentally locked in and unaffected. This is exactly why he is so dangerous at elite level, because pressure situations never break his focus.
No, it's not pressure for me. Listen, it's just fight. It's a boxing fight. It's a normal. I prepare for this fight. Everything okay.
Rico Verhoeven is confident that Oleksandr Usyk has already been figured out before, but this is a completely different level of challenge. Usyk has faced elite pressure fighters and power punchers, and still controlled every situation with timing and intelligence. Bringing kickboxing angles into a boxing ring sounds dangerous on paper, but against Usyk it becomes a question of adaptation and survival at elite pace.
What I believe is that the puzzle of boxing, Oleksandr solves multiple times. Too many times already. And I think this is a puzzle he hasn't solved yet. So I'm gonna bring kickboxing angles, bring a different type of puzzle. And like I said, I'm a big unit. I'm like 125 kilos. So that is something that he's gonna...
Johnny Nelson is breaking down the reality of Oleksandr Usyk's position at the top and why every move now becomes strategic rather than emotional. Usyk has already cleared out the division and proved his dominance over elite names, which is why he is now in a rare position where every fight becomes about legacy and challenge rather than reputation building.
Look at Oleksandr, what he's done. He's wiped the floor with everybody. He's established himself at the top there. So now you look at him and you'll think financially, will he be in a better position than Tyson Fury? No, not in my opinion. Anthony Joshua? No, not in my opinion. The big money fights aren't out there for him, so he's got to do something. He's got to put himself in a position where he's got to win, because he's proved he's top draw. So in this fight here, I think it creates interest, intrigue. I'm quite sure there's a healthy pay packet at the end of it. This is now business for him.
Rico Verhoeven is highlighting his punching confidence and the shift from kickboxing into pure boxing mechanics. That transition sounds powerful, but Oleksandr Usyk operates on a completely different level of timing and ring IQ. Usyk does not allow fighters to load up freely or find rhythm easily, which is why raw power alone will not be enough in this matchup.
Yeah, but I'm not interested in... I like Rico Verhoeven, sparred him, know him, nice fella, very good kickboxer, one of the best of all time, but he's not a boxer. If he wants to fight...
Can he box?
Yeah, he can box. He's a very good boxer, but he shouldn't be boxing the best heavyweight in the world. If he wants to do it as an exhibition, go and do it. I'm not interested in Usyk Verhoeven, just for the simple fact it's a miss.
Fabio Wardley is questioning the credibility of Rico Verhoeven stepping straight into this level of opposition without a deep boxing resume. This is exactly where Oleksandr Usyk's experience becomes the deciding factor. Usyk has already proven himself against fully developed world-class heavyweight boxers with elite amateur and professional backgrounds. That difference in foundation matters massively at this stage. While Rico brings danger and size from kickboxing, Usyk brings years of refined boxing IQ, ring control and adaptability that cannot be replicated overnight. That is why many feel this matchup heavily leans towards Usyk once timing and distance take over.
I understand that he's kind of earned the right to do what you want, but I at least expected it to be some sort of active boxer, someone of some... Not to say, I don't actually know much about Verhoeven in terms of a kickboxer, of what his quality level is, but what I'm saying is I expected it to be someone of a decent caliber of a professional boxer. But if it's not, then fine. Look, do your thing, do you, and hopefully he returns to actual professional boxing against some of the top elites.
Spencer Oliver is clearly frustrated at how quickly Rico Verhoeven has been placed into elite-level boxing discussions without building a traditional professional path. From a boxing perspective, Oleksandr Usyk has earned every step of his position through years of elite competition, unification fights, and undefeated dominance at the highest level. That is the key contrast here. Usyk is not just fighting another challenger, he is defending a standard built through proven world-level boxing experience. This is why critics question the decision, but it also highlights how dangerous Usyk is when matched against someone still transitioning into the sport.
I mean, this kid's had one bout as a professional boxer. You go, so, you know, how can he jump the queue and box Oleksandr Usyk for the WBC title? To me, that doesn't make any sense at all, and I think it makes a mockery, again, of the WBC, allowing...
Rico Verhoeven is openly respecting Oleksandr Usyk by comparing him to himself in kickboxing dominance, which shows how highly he views Usyk's achievements in boxing. But respect aside, this comparison also highlights the gap in environments. Usyk has dominated the boxing world against elite heavyweight champions, while Rico is still stepping into that same structure. The idea of a dream matchup sounds exciting, but in reality Usyk's years of boxing precision, defensive mastery and championship experience give him a completely different level of control inside the ring. That is what Rico will have to overcome if this fight becomes reality.
Sure.
And Oleksandr Usyk is the Rico Verhoeven in boxing.
Yeah.
So like he's been dominating for so long and in such phenomenal fashion. So I was like, wow, if we could do this, that would be like the cherry on the cake.
Paul Smith is highlighting both sides of the debate, but the reality always comes back to Oleksandr Usyk's proven dominance at the top level. He has already beaten the biggest names in heavyweight boxing and unified all major belts, which is why his position allows for unique matchups like this. Even when critics question the fairness, Usyk's achievements explain why opportunities like this exist. However, that does not reduce the challenge he faces. Rico Verhoeven brings size and kickboxing power, but Usyk brings elite boxing intelligence which has already solved every major heavyweight puzzle in the sport.
Kickboxer for a long time and not really done much in boxing at all to warrant a shot at Oleksandr Usyk when there's a queue so big. And
Indeed.
You know what I mean? And that's the most important thing. The people who are sitting waiting for their shot in line are going to be fuming over this. Some would say, to counter that argument, Usyk's probably earned the right to have an easier one.
Peter Fury is confirming that this is a fight built on mutual interest from both Oleksandr Usyk and Rico Verhoeven, which shows the magnitude of the matchup. When two champions from different combat sports agree to step into the same space, it creates global attention instantly. But even in that respect, Usyk remains the benchmark because he has already proven himself in pure boxing against the very best heavyweights in the world. Rico brings ambition and crossover excitement, but Usyk brings established dominance in the exact rule set this fight would take place under.
Rico wanted the fight, Usyk wanted it. They said both ultimate fighting men, aren't they? So fights like this are not going to be hard to make.
Oleksandr Usyk is being placed against a true kickboxing legend who has ruled his sport for years, but boxing is a completely different battlefield. Usyk's footwork, timing and ring IQ have already dismantled elite heavyweight champions, and that is where the real danger begins for Rico Verhoeven. Kickboxing dominance does not guarantee control under pure boxing rules where every small mistake gets punished at world level.
Usyk steps in and will take on one of the greatest kickboxers of all time. I'm actually quite a big kickboxing fan, so I know quite a lot about him. I've watched a few of his fights over the years. They used to call him the Prince of Kickboxing, then he elevated to the King of Kickboxing. I mean, he's a very, very, very good kickboxer who's got decent hands. I can't lie to you, it's funny.
This is being seen as more than just a fight because Oleksandr Usyk does nothing without a purpose at this stage of his career. Every move he makes is tied to legacy, business, or proving a new challenge. The crossover element adds intrigue, but Usyk's motivation will always come down to competition at the highest level where he has already proven himself against boxing's elite.
Space, and I can see how the monetization vehicle of this works, but Usyk wouldn't be doing this unless there's a reason for it. There must be a motivation behind it. It must be some form of derivative as to what happened between the various disciplines crossing over with Ngannou.
There is heavy criticism around this fight being labeled as a gimmick, but Oleksandr Usyk's track record makes it hard to ignore his credibility at heavyweight. He has already unified the division and beaten the very best, which is why even unusual matchups now revolve around him. Critics see risk, but Usyk has built enough legacy to take calculated challenges without losing his standing at the top.
This is a joke. This is nothing but a gimmick fight, and it's even more shameless considering the fact, one, it's on pay-per-view, and two, it's for the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world. Does Rico Verhoeven, with his one win over a decade ago against the guy who was 0-5, deserve a world title shot? Answers on a postcard. Can you play the recorder? No. That's the answer. This is shocking. Shocking stuff from Oleksandr Usyk. This is Oleksandr Usyk picking money over legacy.
Even with predictions favoring Oleksandr Usyk, the unpredictability of heavyweight boxing always keeps fans interested. However, Usyk is not a typical heavyweight. He is a highly technical strategist who rarely gets dragged into chaos. While crossover fights can produce surprises, Usyk's discipline and control usually neutralize raw power and unorthodox styles before they become a real threat.
In fact, I think the fight is going to be a fun one. I think Usyk's probably going to wash Rico, but hey, you never know. Francis walked in there, knocked down Tyson, jiggled his balls in his face, and ended up almost beating him. So yeah, I'll watch this. It's an entertainment fight. It's a crossover fight, and while I think that Oleksandr Usyk has bigger fish to fry in the heavyweight division, when KBL is a mandatory.
Rico Verhoeven's long reign in kickboxing is being recognized at the highest level, but Oleksandr Usyk operates in a completely different combat system. Usyk's dominance in boxing came against fully trained world champions under strict professional rules, which is a far more demanding environment for precision and endurance. The experience gap inside boxing specifically is what makes Usyk the more proven operator in this matchup.
It's big, it's real fight, it's a dangerous guy. Yeah, it's a undisputed champion for kickboxing. Yeah, it's a big guy, like a hard, but this is 50% show, 50% fight. But for me, it's 100% fight, because I very serious in the training, my plan.
This fight carries huge stakes for both fighters because it is not just about winning inside the ring, but about legacy, pride, and proving a point to the entire combat sports world. Oleksandr Usyk has already built a career by defeating elite heavyweight champions and showing that skill, timing, and intelligence can overcome any physical disadvantage. Every time he steps up, he finds a way to control the fight and break down his opponent's strengths. On the other side, Rico Verhoeven enters with the confidence of a long-reigning kickboxing champion who believes his power and size can disrupt Usyk's rhythm and change the story of boxing versus kickboxing. If Oleksandr Usyk wins, it further confirms his position as one of the greatest fighters of this generation, someone who can adapt and dominate across any challenge placed in front of him. But if Rico Verhoeven manages to shock the world, it would be one of the biggest upsets in crossover history and instantly rewrite expectations about elite striking disciplines. In the end, it comes down to who controls the mental battle under pressure and who can impose their style when it matters most. Are you backing Oleksandr Usyk to stay untouchable, or is Rico Verhoeven about to change everything and pull off the upset? Drop your thoughts below.